So we have some major players on the progressive left who have came out swinging for Tulsi Gabbard. Let's check it out. So obviously, Hillary Clinton has her entire camp and every single Brock bot on Twitter trying to attack Tulsi Gabbard, calling her a Russian asset, calling her every name under the sun, which is crazy when you really think about it. You're calling a major in the army a Russian asset. You're calling a sitting congresswoman a Russian asset. You're calling somebody who used to sit on the Senate Intelligence Committee, currently sits on the Armed Services Committee and used to sit on the Armed Services Committee. Somebody who has had multiple security clearances. Somebody who is still a congresswoman. You're alleging that a member of Congress is secretly working for Russia. And instead of most people putting two and two together and say, okay, this is a no-brainer, we have to call this out. A lot of people were being silent. A lot of people spoke up, but a lot of people were being silent. But right now, let's give credit to those who have something to lose who still spoke up anyway. First, we will look at my man Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang had this to say: Tulsi Gabbard deserves much more respect and thanks than this. She literally just got back from serving our country abroad. If you all don't recall, she went to Indonesia instead of actually staying to fundraise for the debates and staying to try and perhaps get higher polling numbers by campaigning in various early primary states. It was back in September, I want to say, early September. No, actually, I lied. It was in early August, and she deployed right before the deadline, so she couldn't go out and campaign, which a lot of people believe potentially caused her to be involved in the third debate, although, of course, she did make the fourth debate. That's what Andrew Yang is referring to. So she literally just got back from serving our country. And people are calling her a Russian asset, and Hillary Clinton has the nerve to call her a Russian asset. Isn't that hilarious? Next, let's take a look at Marianne Williamson. So Marianne Williamson had this to say: the Democratic establishment has got to stop smearing women it finds inconvenient. The character assassination of women who don't toe the party line will backfire. Stay strong, Tulsi Gabbard. You deserve respect, and you have mine. This isn't the first time that Marianne Williamson has spoken up for Tulsi, nor is it the first time that Marianne Williamson has spoken up for other presidential candidates, by the way. She also spoke up for Mike Gravel. I can't really say enough nice things about Marianne Williamson, although her and I diverge on Julian Assange and a lot of foreign policy issues, although she's getting better. I can't really question her integrity. I can't question her understanding of social justice issues, not in a superficial identity politics way, in a very real, substantive, policy-driven way. And so when you have somebody like that who cares so dearly about social justice issues, speaking up for somebody who has been attacked by social justice warriors in a very illegitimate way, that says a great deal about the type of person Tulsi is, but also a great deal about the type of person Marianne Williamson is. I just have that feeling that Marianne Williamson is one of those people who finally realizes exactly how corrupt this establishment is, this Democratic Party is. And it isn't just the Democratic Party, of course, we know that, but it also isn't the Republican Party cheering on this nonsense, right? At least right now, right? It's the Democrats treating Marianne Williamson like trash. It's the Democrats treating Tulsi Gabbard like trash. It's the Democrats treating Bernie Sanders like trash. It's the Democrats treating Andrew Yang like trash. And they can't keep doing that. And Marianne Williamson says it'll backfire on you. It already has. Donald Trump 2016. It already backfired on him. We saw how that turned out. Speaking of which, there's another woman who knows perfectly what it means to be maligned by the Democratic Party because you refuse to echo their propagandist rhetoric, because you refuse to allow corruption to continue on your watch because you refuse to endorse and back a candidate who, as Hillary Clinton said, is a warmonger and is responsible for the rot of the Democratic Party. And that woman is Nina Turner. Let's see what Nina had to say. So Nina had to say this. Good morning, Sister Tulsi. I'm just catching up with the foolery that's going on. I'm shaking my damn head so hard. 4 words. Keep your head up. Now, we all know that Nina has been very outspoken against the entire Democratic establishment and Hillary Clinton. But this, once again, is her showing solidarity with Tulsi at a time that's kind of inconvenient. As you all know, AOC and Ilhan Omar endorsed Bernie Sanders, and today they're supposed to have a rally where AOC is endorsing Bernie. By the way, congratulations on that endorsement. But here's the problem. This kind of sucked the air out of the news cycle, right? It kind of sucked the air out of that endorsement. So it's inconvenient for the campaign. And like even acknowledging it right now is inconvenient for the campaign. However, Nina Turner seemingly she isn't wired like everybody else. She doesn't care what's convenient or inconvenient. When it's time to speak up for her friend, not just a political ally, but a friend. I mean, I'm sure it was a bonus that she got to call out, Hillary Clinton's nonsense. But when she got to speak out for a friend, she spoke up. That's why my tweet says, and Nina just being Nina and reminding us why we all love her and that she should stay, just continue to stay true. I have so much respect for Nina Turner. So much respect. The stuff that this woman has been through, most of you all will never know. Just for endorsing Bernie Sanders in 2016 and then continuing. I mean, like I said, when she came out and said, Our Revolution, when she became the chairwoman of Our Revolution, she was very clear. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, green, purple, yellow. Are you the most progressive candidate? Yes or no? If so, you can apply and get our endorsement. And we will give you an objective endorsement if you are objectively the most progressive candidate. That's all progressives ever wanted to hear. And that's why she got attacked. Now, in the exchange with me and Nina, in response to what I said, this is what Nina had to say. You know what, Niko? This 1950s throwback foolishness is not a good look. It's downright rotten. She's calling out the neo-McCarthyism that we've been seeing taking place, not only right now, but in the last 2-3 years, really 4 years now. And my response, of course, was, right, all this history to learn from, and yet neo-McCarthyism is still running rampant. Shake my head. Reagan would be proud of today's Democratic establishment. Absolutely. This Red Scare McCarthyist rhetoric is exactly the type of nonsense that Truman pushed, Reagan pushed, the Dulles brothers. That's a different story for a different day. We'll talk about that later. There's basically every conservative. The reason that they said we couldn't have Henry Wallace, the former VP for FDR until Truman stole it from him, was because he was a Russian asset. You know what's even crazier? A lot of people don't know this, but did y'all know that MLK, Martin Luther King, was smeared as a communist, which was back then the equivalent to being called a Russian asset, because he was speaking out against imperialism, because he was speaking out against systemic racism. The Black Panthers also labeled communists, not in the legitimate sense, not in any type of pragmatic or operative sense. It's just, you're a communist. In other words, a Russian asset. Why? Because they preached unity, because they believed in the Second Amendment. They believed standing up to the government. They believed in calling out imperialism. They believed in calling out both parties. So you're a communist now. They were put on the domestic terrorist watch list because of that. Tulsi's in pretty damn good company. Henry Wallace, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, Angela Davis, Huey P. Newton. All these people, whether it be on the political side or on the activism side, have been smeared as Russian assets in some way, form, or fashion. If anything, at this point, it's a compliment. But what I find scariest about the times that we are living in now is that the Republicans were the ones who used to act like this. Towards the left, we used to be the anti-war ideology, and it seems like the left is becoming the ideology of authoritarianism. Blind allegiance to parties, party membership, to your tribe, to your favorite politician. The stuff we used to, not me, I wasn't alive yet, but the things that we used to get mad at whenever the right would do that and glorify Ronald Reagan when he was full of it. They just blindly follow Reagan, even though he was the literal definition of an actor in the White House. He was put there to be a figurehead. And we used to hate the way, and still hate the way, they glorified Reagan. And they believed everything he said. They still think, some of these people on the right still think Reagan's responsible for bringing down the wall in Berlin. Okay? Like, we used to hate that. And now we're the ideology that believes in the CIA. We're the organization that believes the same people who lie to us about WMDs. Because Hillary told you to believe them. Because the news told you to believe them. But yet people like Tulsi Gabbard, like Nina Turner, myself, Jill Stein, the activists, the organizers, the ones who stand up to the establishment causing most of the problems in this world, that's who gets smeared as a Russian asset. I'm okay with that. If I'm going to fall into the category, if Tulsi's going to fall into the category, if Nina's going to fall into the category of historic activists and organizers and leftist politicians, I'm sure that they will take that 9 times out of 10. I would love to know what your thoughts are about this. Leave a like and a comment below. And always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.